Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and welcome to the Atlanta Press Club. I'm Charles Edwards. I'm with Jackson Spalding. I'm also an Atlanta Press Club board member. So on behalf of the board and the organization, I want to welcome you to the 2017 Awards of Excellence. We appreciate you joining us here to really honor the best in journalism. And I know that journalists love in-depth takes on subjects, but I don't think we have to go in-depth on the subject of it's been kind of tough to be a journalist nowadays. But it's nice to have one night where we do nothing but celebrate. Just to kind of summarize what Dwayne and what the board has really been talking about for the last couple of months is the whole idea of journalism matters. And it's something that we all know in this room, and we've known it for years, but the idea of journalism mattering, especially in today's society, is something that has really been a focal point for the Atlanta Press Club. We're all about the professional and social and educational advancement of Atlanta's media community. And it was very clear to us that we wanted to make sure that we focused on the importance of journalism, why it matters, and why it matters to the public. So not just with the Awards of Excellence program tonight, but really with educational programs and just standing up for ourselves as an Atlanta media and Atlanta journalism community. So we wanted to just really emphasize and highlight that for you all, not just tonight, but throughout the year. So you'll be able to look out for the Journalism Matters phrase. You'll see it in a lot of different ways with a lot of different programs that we'll be doing with the Atlanta Press Club. And so just be on the lookout for that, Journalism Matters. We hope that you will find the Journalism Matters program and campaign as something worthy of support, and you can find out more information about it on our website. So as we talked, today is really all about honoring the journalists of right now, and we also want to take a moment to look forward at tomorrow's journalists here in Atlanta. And as a co-chair of the Atlanta Press Club intern committee, it's really been a pleasure to work with so many people on this committee to make sure that we are looking at the future journalists from a college perspective and trying to place them with some different organizations here in the Atlanta area. I would like for the winners of the Atlanta Press Club intern scholarship program to stand up and be recognized right now.
Hey everybody, my name is Alex Soderstrom and I'll be interning with the Atlanta Business Chronicle this summer.
And tell us where you go to school now.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to the University of Georgia.
How y'all doing? My name is Chad Room. I'm a sophomore sociology major from Athens, Georgia. I attend Morehouse College, and I'll be interning with the, Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
How's it going? My name is Justin Lewis. I go to Valdosta State University, and I'll be with the Noonan Times-Herald.
Good afternoon. My name is Jameer Stewart. I attend Georgia State University. I'll be interning with Creative Loathing, and I'm a journalism major and a political science minor.
Thanks again for you all for attending today, and we look forward to your future careers in journalism. Before we recognize the winners of the Atlanta Press Club Award of Excellence this year, I would like to give a special thank you to our partner for this event, the University of Georgia's Grady College James M. Cox Institute for Journalism, Innovation, Management, and Leadership. At this time, please welcome Keith Herndon, who is the director of the Institute.
We're proud to be the presenting partner this year, and we have a long name. It's the James M. Cox Jr. Institute for Journalism, Innovation, Management, and Leadership. And it's a long name because we have a lot of programs to put under that umbrella. And so I wanted to give you just a brief history. I can't see the slide, so okay, there we go. There we go. We are named for the son of the Cox founder, James M. Cox Jr. He took over the company in the 1950s and ran it until 1974, and he was a true media pioneer. And we believe that the part of our title that's innovation is in homage to some of the things that he did in media. Our primary funding for the Cox Institute comes from the Jim Cox Jr. Foundation, which was established by his widow in his honor. And they've been a very big, proud supporter for both us, the Cox Institute at Grady, and also the Cox Center for International Training at Grady as well. It's also important to point out that our founder was the legendary professor at Grady, Conrad Fink.
And now, what you came here for? Time to announce the winners. So, journalists were eligible to enter themselves for an award, and peers and professional colleagues were able to nominate journalists who they felt really exemplified the best of 2016. Members of the National Press Club, and the Alaska Press Club served as judges to determine the finalists and winners. Entries were judged based on 3 factors. The first was quality of content. The second was, did it make an impact? Receive an award of excellence, Atlanta Press Club board members are not eligible to win. Now on with the awards. When I announce the winner of each category, please come to the podium to accept your award and say a few words. And we will begin with the first category, which is print and online for a daily publication. The finalists are Brenda Goodman with WebMD. Brenda is nominated for her reporting of the Zika virus as it quickly spread into the United States. Joshua Sharp with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Joshua was nominated for his work focusing on crime and the effects on victims and local communities. Also, Kelly Yamanuchi, also with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, nominated for reporting on long security lines and wait times at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. And the final nominee in this category, Holly Ann with CNN, a finalist for multiple stories she wrote covering the Dakota Access Pipeline, the Black Lives Matter movement, the Flint water crisis, and more. And the winner of the Atlanta Press Club Award of Excellence for print and online for a daily publication is Brenda Goodman with WebMD.
Ooh, I sat in the back because I really didn't think I would be up here, especially with the people I was nominated with. And Andy, I'm sorry you're not with me right now because I really wish you were doing the talking. But thank you so much. It was such an adventure when the Zika crisis hit and learning about it, and it was really thrilling as someone who's focused a career on medical journalism to be able to follow it that way, follow something brand new, and follow along with the scientists as they were learning about it and go to the places where people were really affected, like Puerto Rico. So, and I also have to thank WebMD and the wonderful people I work with there, and my awesome editor, Valerie Besheda, and our dear and departed news editor, Ashley Hayes, and wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Our first nominee in this category is Moni Basu with CNN. Moni is nominated for her story following a migrant rescuer working to save the lives of migrants crossing the Mediterranean Sea. Our second nominee is Max Blau. Max is nominated for work appearing in numerous publications, including The Guardian, Atlanta Magazine, Fusion, and CNN. Max focused on the opioid drug epidemic and the criminal justice system. Next, Josh Green with Atlanta Magazine. Josh is nominated for his in-depth feature focusing on gentrification in Atlanta's historic neighborhoods. And our final nominee in this category is Catherine Schoikit and Evelio Contreras with CNN. They're both nominated for their work reporting on the tens of thousands of children illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. And the Award of Excellence in the category of print and online for a non-daily goes to Josh Green.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, this is fantastic. It's great to be nominated with such esteemed people, with the exception of my good friend Max. He weaseled somehow into the finalist competition. No, but as I said, this this is about, this is for a story that was obviously very, very near and dear to me. It's about my house, my experience moving in with my family to a neighborhood that, like a lot of Atlanta, is swiftly changing. It was called The Gentrifier, told from the perspective of me, the gentrifying white asshole. That's basically what it was. But in all honesty, it's we weren't joking around as much in the story. It was more serious. But Atlanta is an amorphic place. It always has been, and never so much as right now. And I think as we go forward looking for stories from the city, an interesting, rich vein is the people who've been in the city for probably a lot longer than most of us, who have been warriors for their neighborhood, for their block, for their street, for their house, and people who are feeling the pinch of the change for whatever reason, be it property taxes or whatnot. And if a single one of those people is pinched to the point that they have to leave the place that they fought for, I think that's kind of an injustice. So that was kind of the initial nugget for the story and what it was all about. So thanks again, I appreciate it.
All right, moving now to the category of radio reporting. Here are the finalists in this category. First, Michael Caputo with Georgia Public Broadcasting. Michael is nominated for reporting on a program developed by Mercer University's School of Medicine to bring doctors back to rural areas. Also in this category, nominated is Bradley George, also with Georgia Public Broadcasting. He's nominated for his reporting on an organ that was ruined during the September 11th attacks, but was restored and transported to a church outside of Atlanta. And the final nominee in this category is Ellie Yu with WABE. Ellie is nominated for her coverage of Governor Nathan Deal's veto of the Religious Liberty Bill in Georgia. And the winner of the Award of Excellence for Radio Reporting is Ellie Yu from WABE.
Wow. Thank you so much, Charles. Wow, I did not expect that. I'm honored to be nominated with both Bradley and Michael. That I think last year was one of my first sessions that I covered, so I'm also thankful to the Capitol Press Corps for sort of, guiding us along. Thank you to my newsroom. I think that day was actually, that story was, it was a breaking news story, obviously, and I just remember it took a lot of teamwork to get it on for NPR that day. So thank you to my newsroom and my editors. Thank you.
All right, moving on now to the Award of Excellence in TV Reporting, and here are the nominees. Our first nominee is Brendan Keefe with 11 Alive. Brendan is a finalist for his body of work investigating topics including open records violations to weaknesses in the nation's 911 system. Next, we have Rebecca Lindstrom and John Samuels, also with 11 Alive. They are nominated for a piece titled Southern Gun Mama, that investigated a viral video of a tough love mother whose children were taken away by defects. Something tells me that 11 Alive will win this category. And the Award of Excellence for TV Reporting goes to Brendan Keefe.
Thanks. Thank you. On September 10th, 2001, I had the lead story at 6 o'clock on TV. The lead story on September 10th, 2001, where I was working in Houston, was the theft of a fiberglass cow by a fraternity from the Houston Cow Parade. It also led to 10 o'clock that night. Needless to say, hours later, our world changed. And suddenly that story that really didn't seem ridiculous at the time seemed ridiculous for the next decade as journalism was once again put at the forefront, when people realized that those of us who cover the world deliver the world to them, and an informed electorate is, of course, the cornerstone of any healthy democracy or democratic republic. I spent the next 5 years in New York City and on the battlefields as an embedded reporter. It obviously changed my life. But then again, we lost our way again after that as a country. And now, in the last year, I think we've had another one of those moments where we stand here as journalists, where people are now literally, mind-blowingly paying for quality journalism to sign up to failing newspapers. And I think there's this opportunity. It's not just a wake-up call, it's a renaissance. People are paying attention to our work again, so that we're not just patting each other on the back at wonderful events like this, but actually people are starting to consume our reporting in a way that affects their daily lives, and in a way that really calls upon all of us to take that responsibility dear and try to hold on to it for at least another decade so that we can have an informed electorate and a healthy democratic republic. Thank you.
Moving now to the Award of Excellence for a documentary or series. Now, these are audio and video stories running 15 minutes or longer. The first finalists are a team of reporters and anchors from 11 Alive. That includes Jeremy Campbell, Aaron Gutierrez, Matt Livingston, Lauren Rudisil, and Bliss Savage. They are nominated for a documentary titled Charlie Foxtrot that exposed the trauma of war and the military policy that strips service members of their benefits and veteran status when they are suffering from illnesses such as PTSD. Our next finalist is Ryan Horn from the AJC. Ryan is nominated for his work on the Doctors and Sex Abuse Investigative Series. This was an exhaustive report on a system that fails to hold doctors accountable for flagrant abuse. And our final nominee in the category is Don Smith with Georgia Public Broadcasting for a documentary detailing the history and legacy of Atlanta's Fox Theater. And the Award of Excellence for a documentary or series goes to Jeremy Campbell, Aaron Gutierrez, Matt Livingston, Lauren Rudisil, and Bliss Savage with 11 Alive. Why don't you go ahead and step out of the way. I was not part of the series.
Thank you very much, Atlanta Press Club. We're up here for two reasons. One, the gift of time, and two, we knew when to get out of the way. The gift of time was from 11 Alive. Our leaders, Ellen Crook, John Duchesne, and Jennifer Rigby, gave us weeks to work on this documentary and told us that it could have a runtime as long as it needs to be, which you never hear that in TV news. So we took them up on that, and we were able to dive into Charlie Foxtrot and do the thing that was really important, which is get out of the way of the story. We interviewed veterans who were going through the trial of their lives and felt like no one was listening or taking them seriously or believing in the fact that they needed help, that they were being denied. And we shared their stories over the course of the coming weeks by letting them tell it without any sort of reporter track and say the story in their own words. And ultimately, it led to the U.S. Capitol for a special screening in Washington the same week that a piece of legislation passed that helps these veterans get the benefits that they were promised when they signed up to serve. So we're very grateful for time and for knowing when to get out of the way of a good story. Thanks for recognizing Charlie Foxtrot.
Our next category for the Awards of Excellence is Videography, and the finalists in this category are Grant Blankenship and Bradley George with GPB. They're nominated for their reporting on the Leesburg Stockade, in which a dozen African-American girls ages 13 to 15 were held in a stockade for 2 months in 1963 for demonstrating for integration in America's Georgia. Also nominated Matthew Gannon and John Sutter with CNN, nominated for their work covering the aftermath of the Pulse nightclub attack in Orlando, Florida. Also nominated Ryan Horn with the AJC. He is a finalist for his work on the year-long Doctors and Sex Abuse series. And finally, we have Kate Parker, Marcus Stern, and Spencer Wilking with the Weather Channel. who are nominated for their 8-month investigation into recurring toxic algae blooms on the southern coast of Florida. The Award of Excellence for Videography goes to Kate Parker, Marcus Stern, and Spencer Wilkin with the Weather Channel. Congratulations.
You'll forgive my look of surprise because those were some pretty weighty topics there. But if you recognize the Weather Channel brand, you know we do one thing really well. We tell the weather, we tell your forecast, we keep people safe during storms. But if it weren't for our editor-in-chief and for our director of digital video, we wouldn't be telling these stories. And this story was an investigation. It was a gift to me to be able to tell this story, to have the incredible crew that was provided us on this investigation that dove into politics, to science, to everything you can possibly imagine. I was pulling out all my environmental science backgrounds and everything that I had for this incredible piece of work. And weather.com and the digital brand, I'm proud to work for it and for this product. And I can tell you that this is something that is a labor of love. It may not get all the views that Crazy Cat videos get on the internet, but boy do we love it, and you can expect a lot more out of this team. Thank you guys.
Our next category in the Awards of Excellence is Use of Sound. The first finalist is Sean Powers with GPB. Sean is nominated for his feature on the history of sweet tea in the South. Next, we have Molly Samuel with WABE. Molly is nominated for her story about wild bees being used to pollinate in the face of the honeybee crisis. Our next nominees are John Samuels and Jay Watson with 11 Alive. They're nominated for their story on 27 Pianos for Peace, played throughout Atlanta and available for the public to play, which created spontaneous concerts and surprising connections. The final nominee for this category is Sam Whitehead with Georgia Public Broadcasting. Sam is nominated for his story regarding songs that Waffle House released under its own record label called Waffle Records. And now I'm hungry. And the Award of Excellence for Use of Sound goes to Sean Powers with GPB.
Well, this is why you go to journalism school, to do a very in-depth investigative piece on the history of sweet tea. So, no, I mean, at a time when there is so many horrible things happening in the world, to be able to use sound in a very creative and artistic way to tell a story and to get people happy for once, that's always a pleasure. And it's a nice break for me to get away from all the hard news stories I have to do every day. So this is a true pleasure, and thank you, Atlanta Press Club.
Our next category tonight is for a single image photo. The finalists for this award are Bob Andres with the AJC. His photo captures 3 generations of the Martin Luther King family at the anniversary of his death. Another nominee in this category is Curtis Compton, also with the AJC. Curtis is nominated for a photo story following an Alpharetta mother and her transgender son. And finally, we have John Spink, also with the AJC. John is nominated for his body of work covering breaking news in the Atlanta area. His photos captured the presidential election, shooting deaths, fires, and more. And the Award of Excellence for a single image photo is John Spink with the AJC.
Greetings. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Well, this is incredible. Compelling. And complete. You knew that was coming, didn't you? Sorry, it's just there. Wow. I think our brother over at Channel 11 kind of summed it up real well. It's really an honor to be nominated. It's an honor to be in this room with so many talented journalists that make such a difference. And something that, I try to get out and do every day, and that is try to give our readers and our audiences a ringside seat and an up-close view of whatever the heck's happening. And I always try to push the limits, and I know all of our staff members try to push the limits to within legal bounds to give our readers and our audiences, a ringside seat on that. But yeah, I'd like to thank, well, first of all, my wife for not having me committed. I'd also like to thank God for not having me like wiped out on the interstate as I stand out there at 5 o'clock in the morning with all these semi-trucks going by. It's always nice to be alive, especially in Atlanta. But our management team, a big shout out to Sandra Brown. Thank you for your commitment for our visual reporting. It's great to have you all put the wind in our sails and let us go out there and do our thing. And my family of videographers and shooters, we are a family, and we all take care of each other, and I don't think Houston will be the same after our little visit there. But we won't talk about that. Thank you. God bless.
Our next category is for gallery of photos, and the finalists in this category are Dustin Chambers and Camille Penley with Atlanta Magazine. They're finalists for their photo story covering Atlanta's reaction to Donald Trump's victory as president. Second nominee, Camille Penley, also nominated for a photo essay that appeared on the Bitter Southerners website. It documented the real Rosie the Riveters, who are the women who held manufacturing or defense-related jobs during World War II. Final nominee in this category, John Spink with the AJC, nominated for his photos of a house fire that killed 6 people. And the Award of Excellence for a photo gallery goes to Dustin Chambers and Camille Penley with Atlanta Magazine.
So really this is for Dustin because he shot this piece, but I was along for the ride taking interviews. We got this assignment the day after the election, the morning after, before I had even had time to process what was happening. But I think we both, every time we got back in the car after an interview, just really appreciated the time, and we're surprised at how cathartic it was to get such a range of interviews, including an 80-something-year-old woman that told me that a woman really isn't suited to be president anyway. So yeah, we had a great time, and we're really thankful for the assignment and definitely felt proud of the piece. So thank you very much.
Moving on to our next category now, which is investigative reporting. The finalists in this category are, our first finalist is Brenda Goodman with WebMD and Andy Miller with Georgia Health News. They're nominated for a joint collaboration investigating unusually high numbers of a rare cancer found in children in Waycross, Georgia. Our next nominee is Brendan Keefe with 11 Alive, nominated for his investigation of the nation's 911 systems and its shortcomings. Also in this category nominated are the AJC's James Salzer and Aaron Goldscheinen, finalists for their work uncovering a conflict of interest in the state legislature dealing with insurance agencies. And finally, the AJC's staff is nominated for their comprehensive body of work on the Doctors and Sex Abuse Investigative Series. And the Award of Excellence for Investigative Reporting goes to Brenda Goodman and Andy Miller.
Well, finally, I get to let Andy talk. But I do want to thank my husband who babysat for our daughter so many times last year while I was working on these stories. So thank you, honey. I really appreciate all your support. Okay.
Thanks to my wife, too, for putting up with me during all this reporting. This was always about 4 kids who had a rare cancer, all diagnosed within 2 months of each other in the same area. It was always about that. And when Brenda and I talked about it last year and tried to see whether we could work something out in terms of reporting, I never really could grasp how good Brenda is and how good WebMD was to work with. I mean, here we are, a very small organization, nonprofit, and this is WebMD, right? So it was like two different sets of organizations, but I can't think of a better collaboration. And I think, I think as long as we stayed with the focus, I think it really came out well. And we're very humbled because there were a lot of great nominees for this award. And so thank you very much. And thank to John Spink, who I remember going out on a blizzard reporting trip. I don't know, what was it, about 30 years ago, John? But anyway, thank you all. Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Our next award of excellence is our Rising Star Award. This award recognizes outstanding talent from any medium for someone under the age of 30. The finalists in this category are Naima Abdullahi with 11 Alive, nominated for her ability to produce quality content under tight time constraints with enterprising ideas and a creative approach to storytelling. Our next nominee is Aaron Bauer with Around the Rings. Aaron is a finalist for his coverage of the 2016 Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. He reported on everything from the competitions to the economic and political strains the Games placed on Brazil. And finally, we have Lisa Hagan with WABE, whose work is described as tenacious, thoughtful, and inclusive. She reported on issues such as minority communities and women's rights. And the Rising Star Award goes to Naima Abdullahi.
Hello, everyone. I would like to give you a shout out for saying my name accurately. That never happens. No one gets it right on the first try, and have fun every day hearing different versions. I would like to thank my station for allowing me to go on big stories. Every single day we meet people during the most vulnerable moments of their life. Some days we don't process it because we're just doing our job. Some days we take those emotions home. But I'd like to thank my station for sending me to Charlotte to cover the breaking news protests, going to Gatlinburg, such a tragedy over there, covering Hurricane Matthews, covering stories that restore our faith in humanity, stories that leave you puzzled. It's such an honorable career, such a tough time to be a journalist. But I'd like to thank 11 Alive for giving me an opportunity to be a visual storyteller, to challenge myself every single day. And thank you so much to the Atlanta Press Club. This is such an honor to be among so many talented people, well-dressed people. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next award is actually new this year. It is the News Innovation Award. It's in partnership with the Cox Institute for Journalism, Innovation, Management, and Leadership. Finalists may be individuals or organizations that used innovative ways to report or disseminate the news. Google News Lab served as a judge for this award. The finalists are David Armstrong and the Georgia News Lab, nominated for pioneering a new model for making high-impact watchdog journalism affordable and increasing diversity in newsrooms. Jeff Ernhausen, Emily Merwin, and Sarab Dahar with the AJC are nominated for their work on the Doctors and Sex Abuse Investigative Series. Their work included creating their own web scraping computer programs to collect and analyze data. And finally, we have Brendan Keefe with WXIA, who is a finalist for his one-man band reporting skills. Brendan often used 4 or 5 cameras for every interview. He is also nominated for his work in developing TEGNA's multi-skilled journalism training program. And the Award of Excellence for News Innovation goes to David Armstrong and the Georgia News Lab.
Well, sticking with the theme, I will express surprise. This is a wonderful group that we've been nominated with, and I'm very honored by the award. We're very proud of the work that our students do. We're very proud of the partnerships that we've created with the wonderful folks at WSB, the AJC, and with Cox Media Group. They've been terrific to work with. But we are most proud of the model that we have created, which we think is really helping to solve some serious problems in the industry. Creating a pipeline to train young reporters to come in and do very high-level work early in their careers, help to make investigative reporting affordable, help to bring diversity into professional newsrooms, and really help to further the model and to create sort of a future for this very important profession. So thank you for this recognition. It's wonderful. We feel that it really helps to bring light to what we think can be a model that others can emulate and help to do some really great work. So thank you very much for this. Appreciate it.
Our final award tonight goes to someone who has made a significant impact to the journalism industry for many years. Finalists for the Atlanta Press Club Impact Award don't need to be journalists, but people who furthered the mission of the Atlanta Press Club, which is to serve the evolving professional, educational, and social needs of our media community, foster journalistic excellence, and to advance the public's interest in and understanding of a free press. Tonight's honoree is Holly Manheimer, who has served as the first and only executive director of the Georgia First Amendment Foundation since 1996. The mission of the Georgia First Amendment Foundation is to advance the cause of open government and freedom of information in Georgia throughout education and advocacy. In her role, Holly has helped build a coalition of journalists, First Amendment attorneys, and citizens into strong advocates for good governance and transparency. She has also led many programs for the Atlanta Press Club, helping journalists understand First Amendment issues that are making news and how to file for open records requests. Holly's retiring from her position at the Georgia First Amendment Foundation, but her impact will be forever felt. Please join me now in congratulating the winner of the Atlanta Press Club Impact Award, Holly Manheimer.
Please take a seat. You can be seated, as I say in my other job. You know, when Lori called me or texted me a few weeks ago, before I remembered I needed to call you back, sorry about that, I was flattered, and you had asked me to talk for 5 or 10 minutes about the importance of open government, but you know, to everybody in this room, particularly the wonderful award winners, I don't have to talk to you all about open government, transparency, how important it is. You know, you're doing the good fight. I'd be preaching to the choir, so what I can say in the context of open government, let's all keep doing the good work. I'm going to do it in my other jobs as I move on. All of you, please do it. I want to indulge, if you'll indulge me, I want to take my 5 to 10 minutes, I'll make it 3, to direct my thanks to my board of directors. I could never have done what I have done in 21 years without the most fabulous board of directors in the history of the world. And I've got a ton of them here, and I'm going to acknowledge each of them individually. First one is Jerry Weber, who is my best friend, even though he thinks of me as an acquaintance. Anyway, in any case, great. He, along with Peter Canfield and Carolyn Carlson, they preceded me as in my job as the First Amendment Foundation. They formed the group in 1994. I only came along in 1996, so talk about longevity of service. There you've got 3 people. Moving on from Jerry, Peter Canfield's become one of my biggest mentors, taught me everything I know about the law. Thank you for everything. Carolyn, what can I say? You loaned me your car back in the 1990s when I needed something. Thank you for your friendship and your guidance. But I have 4 other newer board members who I owe a debt of gratitude beyond, I can't even talk about it. Sean, my new board president. I never thought anybody could step into the role of my beloved first board president, Hyde Post. You've done it. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for all the support. I can't thank you enough. Tom Clyde, what can I say? You, like Peter, and Jerry have taught me everything. I'm gonna miss the daily, Tom, what do I do? Help me. Thank you for that. I owe you. And of course, my newest two board members who are taking the First Amendment Foundation in a new direction, Kathy and John, thank you. Thank you for bringing us into the 21st century with social media. Thank you for putting a new spin. Thank you for letting the world, this group included, know what the First Amendment Foundation does. I'll keep it to 3 minutes. As I said, I can't thank all of you enough. I think I've probably spoken to most of you in this room at one point or another over 21 years. I can't say I've loved every minute of the job, particularly the legislature, which I won't be sad to not have to, but it was the greatest job in the history of the world. I feel like the job was written for me, the job description. If any one of you in this room could have a job like the one I've had for 21 years, you're a lucky person. I've loved it, and to my board, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it, Lori. Thanks.